Bon dia, buenos días, good morning, bonjour, buongiorno. I think that I know how to say good morning in Japanese, but I just forgot. How was it? Konnichiwa, konnichiwa, konnichiwa. Yes, so I think that I'm going to go straight to English, and if somebody, it's like, I don't understand, can you repeat please? Can you translate? I am very happy to. So we have an amazing panel here of people who work in beautiful projects in different places of Europe, like Clara Montero from Donosti, who directs Tabacalera, which is an amazing art center. We have Heracles Papatheodorou from Athens. He works at Onassis Foundation and he manages a part called Onyx. And then we have Charlotte Benedetti from Namur in Belgium on a festival called Kick Festival. And then we have Marie Dumontier from Lille. She has a festival called Rencontre Audiovisuelle. I have to brush up my French.
It was perfect.
But I will get there. And basically in this talk, what we're going to do is just to know how they work, what they do, what projects they make, and what they are excited about. And I think that also, as Marta was saying, you also belong to the conversation and we belong to the audience. So please ask questions whenever you feel like and take advantage of the fact that they have an experience that's super valuable and that can be very helpful to you and to me and to us and to everybody. So, I didn't do that. Can I ask you for an applause for them? So let's go. So I'm going to start with Marie from Rencontre Audiovisuelle, which is a big festival dedicated to mapping, but I guess not only.
Mm-hmm. Well, hi everyone. Thank you for the invitation to Eufònic. Super happy to discover the festival and the event. So I'm Marie Dumontier. I'm based in Lille in the north of France. And I work at Rencontre Audiovisuelle. We're a non-profit organization, 25 years old now, that started out working with short film, with a short film festival that we have every year that's like now 22-year-old. And we then kind of added the education to the image kind of thing to the short film festival, which is goes through like workshops with children to educate them to the digital image, whether it is with the media and the press or artistic image with creating films. And then a few years ago, like more than 10 years ago, we kind of wanted to get out of the screen, the cinema screen, and we got interested in video mapping, projection mapping, which is basically projecting on a surface, a volume, on anything but a screen, basically. So we created the Video Mapping Festival 8 years ago. It's a festival that is from April to October every year, so that's a very long festival. It starts in April, in May, in Lille, sorry, which is kind of the biggest event that we have, with a lot of people on the street, with a lot of different artworks on different buildings. And then from April to October, it kind of travels in the Hauts-de-France region, which is the thing that we wanted is to not only offer this kind of festive cultural event in the big cities, but also in the small villages. So we are funded by the region, which allows us to kind of go into very small towns that wouldn't have the chance to see these kind of artworks. And it's a lot of work for the technical team and the artistic team, that with like more than 70 creations each year. And we work with like mainly local artists. So that's for the festival. It's going to be a bit long, I'm sorry, but we do very many things. And then my part, my job at Rencontre du Visuel is mostly to organize like a professional event, kind of like this one, where we gather professionals from around the world every year in April at the same time as the opening of the festival. This year it was 350 people from 35 nationalities, so it's growing every year. We were mainly like European-centered, with a lot of Germans and a lot of Italians and a lot of Spanish, which, you know, are countries that are very active and very close to us. And now we have like almost the 5 continents coming to the conference, except Oceania. Next step. So that's just to say that we try to like gather people from around the world that work with video mapping and light for 3 days of conferences and kind of professional speed dating, and of course drinks, which is where everything happens. And the last thing that I want to say, now that I've talked about the artworks, the audience, the professionals, is that we organize trainings every year. We have many different trainings every year for young people, for between like 18 and 30 that are not in education, not in training, not in employment, that kind of are still looking for like what they want to do in life. And we offer training both in artistic video mapping and also in the technical part of it. And we do organize workshops also in like animation schools, video game schools around the world to kind of also give the opportunity to people that already work with the animated image to see that they can get out of the screen and go into the streets with the people and show artworks to like a big audience. So that's basically what we do.
That's quite a lot. So please, applause. They do a lot of things. And now I'd like to ask Charlotte about Kick Festival, which is what? It's 10 years old or a little bit more?
Almost 15.
Oh,
Next
like
year.
Eufònic.
Yeah, not this year, but in 2026 will be the 15th year of the festival.
Eufònic too.
And yes, I think we have the same age. Maybe I can ask you if you can go on YouTube, and because the video is really clear, and if we write Kick Festival 2024, I think you can find the teaser of the Bodies of Water edition that could be easier. And because so Kick Festival, the story of the Kick Festival is 2 guys 15 years ago working in digital industries. No, it's not. Yes, it's. Is it this? No, it's not this. No, it's the. Sorry, you can if you put teaser. If you add teaser on the, I think, on the in the words, because that's the conferences. And after movie, yes. And I think this one is. This one, is it good? Let's see if we.
Is this one?
Yes, I think. No, yeah, it's the teaser, but I think the after movie was the good one.
Okay.
Sorry.
You
So. So the story is two guys working in the digital field 15 years ago, traveling all over the world, and always realized that they were meeting people everywhere out of Belgium, but never in Belgium. And yes, this is one of the after movie of this year. And so Kick Festival, as you can see, is based in one city, it's Namur, and it's mainly talks. So you have 2 days of talks for professionals, but not only professionals. All audience can come to the talks, and it's a mix of inspiration. You have workshop, master classes, a market. It's the center of the festival with a networking space. Of course, parties, you have networking and evening moments. And we have this beautiful theater. This is the center place for the talks. And we have a lot of artistic installations all over the city. We have different places, different venues welcoming the artistic installations. One of them is Le Pavillon, and Le Pavillon is the art center run by KIK. And so what I was explaining first is these two guys, 15 years ago, they realized that nothing happened in Belgium and nothing exists to explore the impact of digital technologies on the artistic field, on the creative field. And so they created the KIK Festival. And the first edition was, this is the edition of this year. Boom Boom Chak is the topic. So it's about music, rhythm. And so it will be the 14th edition this year. It's 4 days. It's in the end of October. So you have the 2 days of talks. You have a networking space. Well, it's kind of euphonic in the format, but we are more dedicated to visual art than music. We start to explore the place out of buildings, because until now it's mainly inside a museum or theater or art centers where we exhibit digital installations. And as I mentioned, 5 years ago, KIK Festival was growing, and then we were talking with the city of Namur about create a permanent venue, so a place dedicated to our exhibitions, and not only during 4 days, the time of the festival, but create temporary exhibitions that could stay for long, and of course then could also raise awareness people about mix between art, science and technologies. So that's Le Pavillon, and that's my part of job. I'm running this place, and we have all the time an exhibition. For now it's Other Worlds Are Possible, and it's an exhibition that dive into immersive experiences and try to connect all the new technologies and the history of art with format in virtual reality, augmented reality. So KIK Festival is not only a festival now, it's a festival, but it's more than that, because from the creation of the festival, now we have a co-working space called Track, and we have also this permanent exhibition venue, Le Pavillon. I think that's it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so there is a co-working space and a Fab Lab. Sorry, I forgot the Fab Lab. So we run the Fab Lab and the Media Lab for professionals, and the co-working is also for professionals. So what I forgot to mention is what we arrived to do now, it's to reach different audiences. At first, KIK Festival was dedicated to only professionals, but now we really spread our action to professionals with the co-working, with KIK Festival, the master classes, the talks, the networking. But it's also super interesting that now, with Le Pavillon and other activities in KIK Festival, we can reach families, kids, schools, and large audience with the exhibitions. So co-working is more for professionals. From Namur, but out of Namur also, if they want.
I was in Namur. I would totally want to be there. I'm
Okay.
sure it's fun. It's like KIK's co-working space. I want to be there.
You should.
Heracles from Athens.
Right.
Onassis Foundation.
Onyx, like X for the multiplication of the creative efforts, but also it is a legacy from how the program started. Maybe a couple of words for the Onassis Foundation, although it was founded in the late 70s and has been supporting, I think it's at about 6,000 scholarships, educational scholarships so far. Onyx is kind of the newer initiative, and it started back in 2022 from New York, not Athens, as a collaboration between the Onassis Foundation and New Inc. New Inc., for those in the know, is probably the first arts incubator, an arts and culture incubator from New Museum. So it was a collaboration between the Onassis Foundation, the O, the New Museum, and X for extended realities, which was primarily the focus when the program started. Since, and quite honestly, even before it was founded in New York, we had been working towards the same initiative in Athens. Now we are opening, we call it a sister space, a sister studio space in Athens for Onyx. So there's going to be 2 locations, and essentially what we do is support artists in producing works with advanced technologies. So again, XR is always a very strong element in the works developed through the program. But it can also be what we call digital arts as an umbrella term. And specifically in Athens, it takes the form of a series of residencies in collaboration with the Onassis AIR program. AIR stands for Artists in Residency, which has an annual open call for about 30 slots throughout the year. And a series of what we call the capacity building activities, that is workshops or summer schools for young people coming from either the art space or the advanced technology space, engineering, it can be computing, or even design and such adjacent spaces to the arts. And as a matter of fact, we're currently this and next week running a summer school in Athens in collaboration with the University of Business and Economics and the NYU School of Engineering. So it is all, I think it's a very good prototype of this culmination of people coming in from a business background, people coming in from an arts and a creative background, and putting them together to develop new projects and form new teams, and yeah, that's pretty much what we do. And bringing people together, producing new pieces, and supporting those works towards their touring and towards their presence across the world.
That's quite a lot also, please. Applause. And then Clara, who is the director of Tabacalera, which used to be a tobacco factory, huge space, so big and so amazing. Like if you visit San Sebastián Donosti, you have to go there if you haven't, because it's a pretty amazing space that I wish I had something similar nearby. So I would like to ask Clara to tell us about Tabacalera a bit more.
Well, thank you, Antonia, and also thank you to the whole team of Eufònic, because you have been so hosting and welcoming. As Antonia said, Tabacalera is huge. We are a public institution, first of all. It's in a former tobacco factory. That's where the name comes from, Tabacalera, with a K, because we are in the Basque Country. I don't know if you all know where San Sebastián is. It's very close to the French frontier in the Basque Country. It's, as I said, a very large space. It's 40,000 square meters, and we are a very complex and multifaceted institution. So Antonia, if I speak too much, just feel free to interrupt me. So we understand ourselves, as I say, as a public institution. We are a public space. We are very open, accessible. Most of the activities are for free. And we have a focus on contemporary art and film, and also at the intersection between different creative practices and different fields of knowledge. So we also work very much on the intersection between film and art, and also art, science, technology. We are very open to, we have a wide cultural program. San Sebastian is a very small town of 180,000 inhabitants. We have 700,000 visitors per year, so it's very open. And we work hard to also work with very different segments of audience, so that we really are able to work with very diverse communities. And the cultural offer consists mostly on exhibitions, workshops, film program, festivals, and of course the Media Lab, which I will also introduce a little bit later. And besides this cultural offer, or being an open center, we understand we are also a center for artistic production. So we also develop programs, resources, services, and infrastructures for creators, both in the field of art and cinema. We have residencies, workshops, mentorships, masterclasses, training programs, which we do in collaboration with the San Sebastian Film Festival, which is the biggest festival for Spanish-speaking film, which is also housed in Tabacalera, and the film school. So we are a complex cultural system, and also something very important for us is that we collaborate with everyone. We believe very much in being public and collaborating with everyone, cultural institutions, scientific institution, educational institution, also communities, local communities of neighbors, associations, NGOs. We work with everyone. So we have the cultural offer, the resources for the artistic production, and we have the Media Lab that is a little bit mix of all. This is Irina Russell, a Catalan artist, who developed an exhibition specifically for children, and she did a great project. I can very much recommend to work with her. And the Media Lab is where everything comes together. It's also a very large space. It has almost 3,000 square meters. It is a library, so it gives access to knowledge, but it also gives access to creation. So there, any citizen can have a service, a program, and tools to develop their creative projects. Alone, we support very much the idea of do it yourself, but also do it with others. And there we also develop a lot of projects with communities and technologies, and more in projects that go more direction activism, critical use of technology, creating awareness. And I think in the political situation in which we are in, I think the answer is very much in recovering the direct contact and trust between the artistic discourses and creators and the different communities of citizens. And this is a little bit where that happens in the Media Lab.
Wow, applause.
Thank you.
Let's get to know a bit more specific projects in which they are working and more details. And then I have to tell you that this activity is included in the program of a project called Covisions, which Eufònic is part of, that we do together with other festivals across Europe, like KIC and Rencontre Audiovisuelle. And the goal of Covisions is to connect natural heritage with technology or digital technology and digital art. And I'd like to ask first Marie about the project that you are developing for Covisions.
Yeah, so as Antonia was saying, we the aim of the project is to reflect on climate change and like the impacts of climate change in our own territory using digital art. So as I said, we are mainly working with like projection mapping, and we are in the north of France in a region kind of surrounded by the sea. It's not the same as here, it's cold, but it's still the sea. And we have a lot of cliffs. And we see that the cliffs are kind of getting deteriorated because of climate change. So this is the area that we chose to work on. It has the land, it has the sea, the water. So it's kind of an area that's very inspiring to the three artists that we are working with. So Anna Basheva, she's a Romanian artist. Carl Cordonnier, digital art, and Carl Cordonnier is a French artist, a photographer, working generally on portraits and the impact of climate change in the area. He's from the area, and we're also working with a music composer called Geraldine Quick. And so they are working on the cliff. The idea that we had at the beginning was a beautiful, beautiful idea that we would project on the cliff. So it's a huge, huge cliff. And we wanted to, I'm going to say this word a lot, and we wanted to do projection mapping on it. It's located in a place where you can see it from the town that you are in, but also from the town across. So it's like immense, but impossible. So that kind of was a bit hard on the artists that were really excited to work on the cliff, but because it's like in front of the water, and the water is like a powerful element, and we're working with like projectors that are very sensitive to like salt and wind and humidity, and there was no way to kind of position the projectors. So the project switched, and now we're working on houses that are facing the water. So we are keeping this kind of position, like land and water face to face, on several houses. So it's going to be like a series of projection mapping. And the way that the artists work is that they will, they interviewed local habitants, the local people, on their like intimate stories about what they see changing in the land that they were born in and that they grew up and old in. So it's going to be like a mix of sound design and voices from the people, and a mix of like portraits that Carl did and that Anna kind of twitched digitally that will be projected in their town. Same as you, it's most of what we do is completely free and completely open, and going into the streets where you don't have to choose to be here to experience it. You can just walk past it and be surprised by it. So this is the artistic project that we are working on. I'm just going to focus on that one. Yeah.
That sounds very good. Like that cliff must be huge.
It's huge.
Like, so for those who maybe get distracted, the cliff is like an acantilado. So that would have been like a very big screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
With all the asperities and
Yeah.
like, and we have to like make a 3D or 2D model out of it so that the artist then can create. So you have to map the cliff, and it's ever changing. So it's also a challenge.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna stay in our mind,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
one day,
Maybe one day. Maybe one day when projectors are not that expensive, so
or they can float.
they can float, or they could get ruined with humidity
Yeah,
and
exactly.
salt, right? Charlotte, what are you doing for Covision?
My micro. Yeah, no, it's working. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Perfect. Sorry. Yeah, for Covision we work with Marco Barotti and Robertina Sebianic, that are two digital artists and researchers. And actually, Namur is a city of rivers. There are two rivers crossing passing by, the city, and water has many issues today and in the future. So water became quickly the topic of our project. And the two artists we have invited, they are working with the university based in Namur, the University of Namur. And we work with scientists with the studies on water. And so what is the project of these two artists? They are working with local artists, as Covision is a meeting, first of all, meeting between citizens and artists, and meeting between local artists and international artists. So for the local artists in Namur, we have a core, and so they will work with the singers, because the project is an immersive experience with opera. And they want to cross the time, so from the Devonian. In fact, they want to tell a story, the story of life which appears, and life appears in water, so linked to the water and the rivers, and then how life evolved until now, and now from now to the future, they try to tell a story where we can completely know how life is going to be transformed. And so the immersive experiences will be projectors, video mapping, and kinetic sculptures, but also the special sound you will be sorry, I don't find my word. You will be surrounded by this story of life from the Devonian to the future. We still don't know. And so they work in a mix of images they capture from the city, the rivers, and they merge it with generative art and generative images. So the first view of this installation will be at KIK Festival this year, and Covision plan to organize a touring phase. So normally the artistic installations should travel next year in another festival or artistic partners. And but I want to add on this that it's not only the artistic project in Covision what we are interested in, but it's also the question of can we really explore the climate change with digital art, and what's the impact of digital art? And about this question that we found it super important to question, we are supported by a collective now, and we try to create workshops with other Belgian institutions like Beaux-Arts or Canal in Brussels to measure the impact of the digital artworks and consider how we can act like that with the climate change and the ecological issues. So that's the two parts of the project we are doing now.
Because digital art uses energy.
Of course.
When you produce energy, you produce residue and things like that. There are many artists who are asking themselves,
of course,
what will we do, or what can we do to keep on doing digital art or visual light art without electricity?
Yes, of course.
There are things that are very interesting in this area.
And not only electricity, but also free technology. For example, in the exhibition we run now in Le Pavillon, so it's virtual reality. But artists now, they depend on Meta, on Pico headset, and now the question of can we own our technology, and can we be free on this technology? Because it's a big question, actually. And now when you see that a person like Mark Zuckerberg is completely going on the wrong way, and his technology is still used for our project, so that's a question, yes. Digital art is not easy to deal in this context.
Definitely. And you've opened a very interesting box, which is the box of free and open source software, which are two topics that both Heracles and Clara work, both in Onyx, Onassis, and Tabacalera. And I'd like to ask you, Heracles, about projects that you do that are with digital arts, but that they are mindful about, yes, about energy, electricity. I think that you worked quite a while with the concept of permacomputing.
Right. I could speak a little bit about the Plasmata series of exhibitions, which is not specifically an outcome of Onyx. It is actually we wrapped the last iteration a couple weeks ago. It is a biannual exhibition that happens in the public space, and always it's been a strong element towards building the concept and the exhibition itself, because there's always this very much entangled nature of digital arts between the concept and the actual materialization of the thing, of how to lower the technological expectation of artworks, which sometimes comes off as a matter of accessing electricity. And interestingly, in the previous exhibition in a more rural city in Greece, in Ioannina, you would expect some infrastructural parts to be there, but for example, we had to bring in diesel generators to get the monitors, essentially the speakers. Surprisingly, sound is more electricity intensive than visuals even. And towards building the exhibition, we are becoming more and more aware of how to shape the concept and make the selection of the works in a way that addresses the fact that you need to build infrastructure. So it might mean that in specific places, because always building an exhibition in a city is a matter of specificity of the place as well. It may mean that you have to put something that does not have a grid demand in that location, or put something else. I think it's a big question, and also the software infrastructure that we take and pose to the artists eventually and support them in building their works, to have in mind, because it's not very often that you can sustain the kind of infrastructure in the future to present those works. And this might mean more practically that if you're working with XR and have to rely on Meta or big tech that is very ephemeral, you eventually put so much work towards something that you are not even sure you can replay 5 years in the future. It starts to become very fragile in a way. So we, I'll close with the thought that we are working with artists to create a form of a work that does not rely on a specific surface or infrastructure. So it can be, and very often that is the case, that you develop that artists develop a piece for a headset, but then it can take the form of a dome projection or a mapping projection. So eventually, we feel what ties those different formats together is the kind of storytelling you put towards the piece, or the way you treat it visually and acoustically, and the minor elements, and less the eventual form that it takes. So we're it's kind of a backstage discussion that does not very often reach the audience, because you're building towards something that is hidden in the eventual outcome, but it really is important. It's a kind of iceberg example that the mass of the work is hidden from eyes, but it is eventually what is very important in digital arts, to build towards that sustainable infrastructure, to have in mind how demanding a piece can be, and have in mind how it can be reinstated in the future when there's no means to do it, which also makes the works easier to travel eventually. And again, we need to have in mind that the value comes from people being able to experience the works, rather than being impressive and very big ones.
Definitely, because at the end of the day, when something it's like very impressive, very tailor-made, like, you know, domes and difficult structures, then the reality is that they don't travel at all. And it's like a lot of work and a lot of money put into it, and it's just a shame.
This is exactly what we do. And but it's true, like because we tailor the artwork to like a specific surface, and like all the images are created for that architecture or for that object so it cannot travel. So now we're also like looking at transmedia, not so really, because we're like mainly projector surface, but into like pieces that can travel on objects, on sculptures that can go somewhere, and that can find like also a sustainable model in that sense. Yeah.
Also sustainable as in health for the artist.
Exactly,
They don't
yeah.
have to be constantly producing, but dedicating time also to artworks that are good. They tell me that we don't have much time, but Clara, tell us about what you do in terms of thinking open sourcely, I just invented this word, or ecologically at Tabacalera.
We do a lot, and we have to finish. Our focus are artists and filmmakers, and that's the core of our mandate. But we believe very much also in citizen participation. So when it comes to these elements that are also concerns of our society and of our time, we believe very much in citizen-driven innovation, societal innovation, and mixing together creatives and engaged citizens in order to address challenges together and to find solutions together. And we have done beautiful examples with that, like with an artist, Marina Otero. We developed a piece in which a community of citizens developed a vermicompostera, so that there were worms, they were using the heat of the digital art to create compost that we then recycled and used it for farming. So this element of an artist and a community that has knowledge, or you don't need, it's good to have experts, but also citizens with very different backgrounds and knowledges without being brilliant, each of them. But putting us together can bring us to find new solutions, especially when it comes to sustainability, and we believe very much on that.
That's an amazing project.
Yeah.
How much energy or how much waste do you get from the digital works themselves to make the compost?
Well, that was like a prototype.
Yeah,
so
I can
not
imagine.
ongoing.
I can
It was a
imagine.
prototype, and it's going to be presented at Ars Electronica. So we commissioned the piece, and the interesting aspect here is we did it in collaboration with the Donostia International Physics Center, which is a research institution in San Sebastian that is now coordinating the arrival of the quantum computer to San Sebastian, and they are also in charge of the supercomputer. And the beautiful thing is that they asked us, they wanted to address the topic of the consequences of the immense digital use that they do. They are aware of the consequences, and they invited us, or they asked us, we want to work on that. So it's very nice that they are so self-critical, and it's very nice that they want to address the topic, and then they were to work on that they invite us to develop something, and then our answer as Tabacalera was to invite an artist and to engage communities. And this is a format, as I said, that I think can bring a very beautiful thing, to have engaged scientific institutions being aware of the consequences of the work, and artists. And I think as artistic cultural institutions, we have to be more and more in the role of mediators and encouraging and developing, facilitating, enabling in order to find solutions.
Wow, sounds like a super exciting and super nice project to work on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's only one of many, though.
I would, now it would be time to say, do you have questions for our speakers? But we don't have time, but we have coffee outside. So it's a very good time to ask the questions and to chat. And now I want to thank you. Thanks
thank
to
you.
all of
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.